my peace. You are my joy, you're my everything. All that I am, all that I'll ever be is a result of who you are to me. My heart's desire is to do your will, to pursue your purpose, your plan fulfilled. My soul's delight is to follow you. My goal, my purpose is your will to do. All that I am, all that I'll ever be is a result of who you are to me. All that I want for people to see is the image of I am in me. Every day I live to see. I thank you, God, because you let it be. The breath I breathe is life to me. Everything you are is what I wanna be. Yeah, yeah. All that I am, all that I'll ever be is a result of who you are to me. All that I want for people to see, yes, is the image of I am in me. All that I want, all that I'll ever be is a result of who you are to me. Yeah. All that I want for people to see, yes, is the image of I am in me. Yeah. Oh, is the image of I am in me. It is the image of I am in me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is the image of I am in me. You are, you are, you are, you are.
It's Friday Night Live with Cat Carter. Get ready, set, let's go. Come on. It's Friday night. It's Friday Night Live. It's Friday night. It's Friday night with Cat Carter. It's Friday night. Hey. It's Friday night. It's Friday night. Yeah. It's Friday night with Cat Carter. It's Friday night. It's Friday Night Live. It's Friday night. It's Friday night with Cat Carter. It's Friday night. Hey. It's Friday night. It's Friday Night Live. It's Friday night with Cat Carter. 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 With Cat Carter.
Hey, welcome to Friday Night Live with Cat Carter. I am not your host, Dr. Cat Carter. I am Cheryl, the media director, just holding it down while our host is away recovering. She is doing well. She is getting better every day, and she cannot wait to get back to you guys. But in the interim, Friday Night Live is a positive platform where we come to inform, innovate, and inspire. And I'm just going to keep the ball rolling. Our guest host today is someone who is not a stranger to this show. He was just here. He is back again. We love to have him here. We have Lemek Yisrael here to hold it down for us. So I'm just going to bring him up and get the show going.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, guys? Is your host Lemek. I'm back at it again. We're going back at this again. I was here 2 weeks ago. It was a phenomenal show. I had a great time, and we're hoping to do this here again. My guest tonight is a good friend of mine, Tony Saunders. Now, if you guys don't understand who this guy is, right? This guy is a 2-time Emmy Award-winning bassist, composer, producer, son of a legendary Bay Area keyboardist, Merrill Saunders. Tony Saunders' life has been infused with one musical adventure after another. As an arranger, producer, composer, and performer, Tony Saunders has conquered the world of jazz, gospel, R&B, pop, rock, world music. He earned 2 Emmys at the age of 14 for collaborating with his dad on the PBS documentary Soul Is. And by 17, he was playing with Merrill and Jerry Garcia on their collaborative projects. The second Emmy was earned for his contribution on the TV show Digital Journey, on the episode China, the New Digital Economy. Though he took one of his few musical lessons on piano from the Herbie Hancock, the bass he received was from John Fogerty's brother Tom, and watching recording sessions with famed bassists Anthony Davis and Leave Miles, which sparked a lifelong passion for that instrument that now, 50 years later, has led to his emergence as a major independent force in contemporary jazz. Now, I want everybody to know that this guy, I had him come to an event that we had down here. It was called the WNOZ Smooth Jazz Jam. And he actually did a little small deal with a good friend of mine, Nathan Mitchell, had him as a guest. We actually have a video clip of that. If Sherry can do me a favor and put that up for us, you can check that out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that. Now, introducing to the stream the Tony Saunders.
What's up?
What's going on? What's going on? Say everything good on your end, man?
Yep, everything's good here.
Awesome, man. It's a pleasure to have you here, man. This has been a long time coming, man. I've been having you on my radar to be able to chat it up with and chop it up and chat and see how we can do this thing, man. I'm gonna have a blast tonight. You there?
Yeah, I'm
right,
excited
awesome.
to be here.
Cool. I think you got a little choppy, but it's all right. We're gonna roll with it. Man, so I read up your thing, man. I want you to tell me and work me through, man. What is some of your biggest musical influences, man? Because you've played with a lot of people coming up, and you have such a extensive background and resume. I just want to, what are some of the biggest things that got you started, like that you can then feed back off of when it relates to music?
I think that getting to be around Herbie Hancock when I was young, getting to be around George Duke,
Yeah.
Joe Sample,
Mhm.
and I really like those guys, and just the music they made. It's been with me all my life. We say smooth jazz, but this is the only theme music that I've been listening to my whole life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I like Cannonball. I like all of the cool music that came out, and it just George Duke, like, he played in the Bay Area a lot because he's from Marin City, and it's great to be around the great. I used to go to the clubs even when I was like 13, 14.
You sneaking in there, man?
Sneaking in there, and they let me sneak in the back and listen to these guys play. And so I just loved it.
Oh man. Dude, so that's one of those deals where I love what you just said there, because essentially I didn't have that similar. I wasn't sneaking into the clubs and stuff like that, but from hearing cats play, that's really where it was. I've told this story on here many times, but I've went to the Neo Jazz School of Music, where it's a bunch of my cousins over there that play, and they play predominantly like jazz standards and stuff like that. But hearing that kind of stuff live really sparked the interest, as well as like me being in the internet age and stuff like that. But from what your upbringing and the background you came from, that's all there was, man. This is just live and real.
My dad played music, so this is all I ever knew.
Same as well. So tell me a little bit about working with your dad on that documentary, man.
That was fun because that was sponsored by the Black Panthers.
Oh wow!
And, it was a PBS special called Soul Is. My dad told me exactly what to play, and I played that exactly what he said, and it won an Emmy. We were also doing remember film strips? That's way back in time. And they had that little ding where you move the film strip forward.
I don't know nothing about that. I gotta admit, that's before my time.
So I used to play on film strips, what they used to show in school.
Wow.
And I did music for this company called Har Corporation Jovanovich.
Oh wow. Say that again. What's the name?
Corporation Jovanovich. They put film strips in schools, and I used to play on all the videos that they did when I was like 13, 14.
Wow. Dude, so did you take did you take any like formal classes in school for music or anything? Or
Yeah,
you just
I actually I graduated from the conservatory in San Francisco playing piano.
wow.
And then when I switched to bass, you know, I switched to bass because my dad produced Walter Hawkins' first only secular record. And I saw
Wow.
that bass player play Anthony Davis. Then a few weeks later, I sang something for my dad, and this bass player playing was Lee Miles. He was
Wow.
playing with Miles Davis. And once I saw those two play, that's all I wanted to do was play bass.
Wow. So that's all it took for you, huh?
Yeah.
And so if that's the case, man, I want to ask you a little bit, because I know you mentioned that you sung and you played a little bit of keyboards, right? What gravitated to bass in particular?
Because I just heard these songs and the bass parts were like incredible. And I played it over and over in my head. I could still play the bass lines. They were that good. They were like James Jamerson, but deluxe.
Yo.
And you know, it's like it was so inspiring to me. And then my dad's friend was Chuck Rainey. You know what I mean? So I got to see him play, you know, and all of that just made me want to play the bass.
So you just saw all of that stuff and you're like, man, look, I got to get this low end.
Yeah. And it's funny because in high school I played keyboards, right? I had a band in high school, and some friends of mine come to my shows now and they go, Tony, when did you switch to the bass?
It's still like, hey, bro, look, I thought you was keys only, man.
Yeah. They still thought I played keyboards, but they come and I play bass, and in the neighborhood groups, you know, I played piano. And,
man, tell us a little bit about that, man. How was it? Like, did you play with friends a lot?
Oh yeah, no, I had a band. And I was a keyboard player, and I played organ. Sly Stone gave me an organ when I was 10 years old.
No way.
Because he gave me a B3 when I was 10 because I used to walk his dog Stoner, and I had a radio show on his show once a year, and he liked my dad a lot. So they were always when Sly was blowing up, he was always at my dad's house asking him for advice.
Wow.
Because if you remember, that was in the 60s, and integration really hadn't happened. So when all the black people came to San Francisco, they stayed at the same hotel.
Yeah.
I moved Jimmy Smith's organ. You know, I moved my dad's organ, George Duke's stuff. You know, and Sly Stone, like, you know, he gave me a lot of inspiration because I saw that group when they were just starting out, and he knew that I wanted to play keyboards. And my dad wouldn't let me play his B3, so he bought me one for my 10th birthday.
Oh, there you go. He said, man, get your own stuff, bro.
Yeah.
man, so let me see. So if that's all the vibe that you got back in those days, you got to experience all that kind of stuff. What are some of the biggest teaching moments that you've encountered from all those people? Because I know that you got a wealth of knowledge just alone in that.
Well, I was on the road with Randy Crawford. And the bass player, the bass player that was playing with Dexter Gordon, we were opening up for him at Paul's Mall in Boston. And Rufus Reed was the bass player, phenomenal bass player, right?
Yeah.
And he said, come an hour early for your show, and I'll work with you. And he showed me all of this because I wanted to be an upright player.
Yeah.
And he said, no, you do what you do on electric and just learn as much as you can. So he spent like days teaching me how to do stuff, and people like him, Chuck Rainey sat down and showed me how to play stuff, you know, and he said, now don't show this. He showed me the lick he played on Sanford and Son. He said, now don't show nobody.
The lick on Sanford. Oh God.
Yeah. So he showed me how to do that. And then there was a female bass player, Carol Kay, who would always come to the studio. She's getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now. And,
wow.
She had bass books, and I would see her at the studio, and I would always go, so how do you do this? How do you do this? You know, and she would say, boy, stay on that practice.
Yeah, bro, that's the most important thing. And that I feel like that's the stereotypical advice anybody will give you, right? Just stay on the practice and stuff like that. I mentioned this the last time I was a guest host, and the importance of practicing, right? So practicing is probably the most boring thing that you can do it's not fun for the most part. It depends
You know,
on what you're practicing. You disagree? What you say?
I agree totally because
Mm-hmm.
I still practice like till 12, 1 o'clock in the morning every day because there's so many young kids. You guys got YouTube now.
Oh
I used
yeah.
to have to put the needle on the record and put it back. And
Well,
not only do you have YouTube, you can see how to do stuff.
yeah.
So now I'm just like y'all. I'm on YouTube every night. There's so many great musicians. You know, I'm on YouTube every night seeing what I can cop.
Yeah, listen, I'm with you on that, on how it was back in the day. Listen, I'm right at that age where I was at the beginning of YouTube. I was old enough to remember when I came out. Before that, I was listening. I had a CD player my dad gave me with Stanley Jordan on it, and I would sit down and I would try and have this thing playing and just hear what this dude is doing. And of course, I know now what he's doing. He's tapping, but trying to figure that out just from listening, that's not happening, bro.
Hey, can you imagine? I was doing it without being able to see.
Yeah, you can't see it. And also tell me this that helps your ear though if you're able to do that.
Yeah,
because that's all you have to rely on. If you don't have somebody making charge for you or something to read off of, just listening by ear, that's important. And considering that's pretty much anybody from pre-2000, I think they honestly are some of the best musicians that will ever be, because they didn't have a lot of the should I say handicaps that we now have just due to YouTube. Although it's a lot easier for people now to get into this stuff and become good fast, it's the quality of it, you know. Do you think that's anything different there?
Oh yeah, no,
I think so.
It's like it's a learning process, but now the learning process has been speeded up a little bit. Because you get to see some of my students come here, they come in the same room right here where I'm sitting, and they'll come in and they'll play something, and I'll go, "Oh, can you play that again? I don't remember us going over that." Yeah. And basically, I'll be going like, "What did you just do?"
Yeah.
Let me see that again.
Yeah. Well, I think mainly because like back in the day, I'm coming from guitar background, right? But I'm sure it's the same thing. Anybody that would put on a record or cassette tape and stuff like that, they had to really sit down and learn this at whatever speed. Like, say for instance, you wanted to sit here and learn a giant step at like 250, 300 BPM. You can't slow that down. So I think that there's an echelon of musician where you have the cat that can sit here and slow it down, practice slowly, then speed it up to get to that level, versus the guy that has the ear and the mental training to be able to, and patience, to be able to sit there and listen to something that's going lightning fast and really articulate every single note and learn it like that. I think there's a little bit to both, right?
Yeah, we're able to break it down.
Yeah. I'm not going to say one is better than the other or one is worse than the other, because they all serve, the purpose of learning. But I think the one that can actually listen longer and train that ear, that'll help him in the long run, because when you actually play with musicians, I think you'll become your own artist instead of just somebody that can copy a bunch of stuff when it comes to live.
Victor Wooten always expresses that you should get people to play together.
Yes.
You should get people to play together. And I try to get musicians to play together. I got an 8-year-old granddaughter who has a guitar upstairs, and I'll be doing tracks down here, and she'll be up there with her amp turned up.
There you go.
Trying to blend in.
That's awesome.
And then so she got something on one of my records, and she tells her cousin, she goes, "Yeah, that's me on the record right there."
Oh, there you go. She putting her little stamp on it.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. Well, so do you come from a musical family, or is that just starting with you?
My dad was he had like the organ trio thing, and he started in the 60s playing with the organ trio, but he played with everybody famous. So it's like he played with Duke Ellington, he played with this guy who won Dizzy Gillespie, Lionel Hampton. He played with Lionel Hampton. So when he went to Germany, and he was in the Air Force. And when he came back, he stopped in New York, hung with my cousin Ray Chu and his family, and I didn't meet him till I was 2 years old. But I've been knowing music every step of the way since my dad would spend time with me. And so it's funny, we talked about the Cleveland Browns earlier.
Yeah,
my dad knew Walter Beach, who was on the Cleveland Browns.
Wow.
And so one night they used to always play the 49ers for the first preseason game.
Mm-hmm.
Our house was about 5 blocks from the stadium. Walter Beach and Jim Brown came to my house, spent the night. I walked to the stadium with them. So I have a picture with Jim Brown when I was really, really young.
Man, dude, you've lived a full and adventurous life, man.
Yeah.
That's not many people could say that they've met as many people as you have, because I've done my research on you before this, man. You've got a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of contacts and communications you've made, man. So that'll lead into my next one. I was saying, I remember so let me preface this for everybody that's watching. That video that played at the start was the WNOZ Smooth Jazz Jam we had here in New Orleans, and of course Tony was there, and he was a awesome performer. He killed that show. But I picked him up from the airport, and he mentioned that he's played everywhere, including the Roman Coliseum, if I'm not right. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Oh, well, not the Roman Coliseum. I played in the city of Ephesus, where
that's what it was. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. It was my bad.
In Ephesus, where where David spoke. I actually sat in that stadium where David spoke. Man.
Wow.
And I went to Mary's, the last place the Virgin Mary was, and I actually kneeled down and prayed on that altar. Of course, when I was sitting down to kneel, I was going like, oh,
like I can't believe I'm here.
I can't believe I'm here. But I've been exposed to that, and just being so many great musicians. They kind of took me under their wings, and they helped me. I don't have that bad luck story where say so and so ripped me off or so and so ripped me off, because I don't have that. My dad had a record company with Wilt Chamberlain. You know what I mean? And we kept his Bentley when he was out of town. So it was real cool to be able to see all of these adventures, spend time around Oscar Brown Jr. and his kids. And they exposed me to a lot of stuff. And my dad. So I lived in the Haight-Ashbury, which was, I was basically raised on R&B music, right? But then in the 60s, I lived where they had the peace and love revolution was happening, where the girls would be walking around with no bras and stuff, And my grandmother's going, why you guys finish your chores so quick? So, Nana, we gotta get back out there. We might be missing something. And she was going, no, y'all need to get to church.
Yeah, you need to go to church, bro. You need to go to the altar.
So that's why I was able to play with so many different people. And I practiced at the Jefferson Airplanes where they had their office and their studio. I practiced there when I was in high school with my band.
Man, that's amazing, dude. So I want to ask you, what are some of the favorite places and or countries you've been to?
I love France. I love Paris. I love the New Morning Cafe in Paris. I played in Spain. I think I love playing anywhere where they like music, for one. But I really like France. My favorite city in France is Avignon.
Oh, okay.
And I've been to France a bunch of times. And when I was younger, I had a girlfriend in Strasbourg, Germany. So I commuted to Germany. And 1 month I'd be here, 1 month I'd be in Germany.
Wow.
You
was real serious about that.
Yeah, I was real serious about that for a minute.
Oh, man. That's some dedication if you're going to commute all the way.
Yeah.
What is that, about 4,000 miles?
Oh, yeah. It was long. And plus, I didn't speak German, and she didn't speak English.
That's true love right there, y'all.
We bonded over music. We would listen to music. She would listen to music that I like. And they didn't even have, I said, Valentine's Day happened, and she didn't send me a Valentine's Day card. And she said, we don't have that in my country, Tony.
Oh, So you said, hey, I'm gonna save this money on this day. That's what we gonna do.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day is come see me. Get on that plane.
Yeah.
Man, that's funny, dude. So we've got some things we want to show you. Tony specifically, he just got done playing at the Blue Note. Now he has a couple videos he wants us to show you guys from it. And the first tune that we're gonna have him show us, let me just pull this up 1 second. Is a tune "Give Me Some More." Now tell us a little bit about this.
But "Give Me Some More" is a tune that it's the first tune on my album. Actually, they were battling over the first song that was released on the CD was called "Loving You Is Easy," and now they're getting ready to release the second single. And I just found out a half hour ago that they're going to release "Swagalicious," but they opened the show with "Give Me Some More." And you know, it's a great song. I wrote it right here in this room.
Yeah.
And, you know,
now, if I'm not mistaken, "Loving You Is Easy," I saw that a few months ago. That charted on Billboard, didn't it?
Yeah, we went up to number 6 on Billboard. Yeah.
Man, congrats, man. So Tony Saunders killing the game, killing the charts as well. So here is "Give Me Some More" from my man Tony Saunders. Hope you enjoy this one. Man, wasn't that cool or wasn't that cool?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Man, y'all look like y'all have fun up there, man. That's a
We had
smoking
fun
band
every
too.
time we play.
Man.
And Ashley there on sax, she's really good, and everybody in the band is really good. And we have we have a lot of fun playing together.
It sounds like and from the looks of it, we got a couple band members in the chat right now. Shout
out
to John Mitchell.
John Mitchell. He shot. That's the drummer. I've been with him forever, and that's great that he's hanging out watching us.
Yeah, man, we got to have the fam in here, man. So that's a cool too. So I want to ask you this then. What are some of the most important things to you when you're writing music? Because everybody has their style, everybody has their sound, and there's multiple different things that are important to some people that are not important to others. So what's like some of your philosophies when you're writing?
Well, that you want to make the melody memorable. Want to make the melody memorable, and the second thing is that you want the song to take you someplace. So there's some songs that I dream about, and I'll come down here in the studio and put them all down. My piano's right in back of me. I'll put them down on piano or bass. Some start with the bass, some start with the piano. But it's important for me to have the song make sense. And I remember sitting with Robert Bell from Kool and the Gang, and he told me that it's important to make sure people dance to his music, and it's important for me people to feel the music. It's really, really, really fun.
So, like you're saying that the melody is key, and I always ask this to kind of gauge where artists' vibe are, and most of the time I always get the same answer. Like you said, is melody is key. You have to have something memorable and take you someplace, and I think that's important. Whether that comes from stuff, because I know when I write, a lot of the times it's more riff based. Like I'll have something where, honestly, I spoke about this last time, but most of the time I'll write stuff when I'm practicing just by accident, mainly because like when I practice, it's not always sometimes like that focused. I find something like, okay, I need to work on a technique. It's not so much what I'm playing, then it's just getting the technique down. But in that's kind of where I find the magic comes about, because anything goes. Like you're not limiting yourself to anything. And so you have a freedom of expression that kind of manifests itself other than when you're actually trying to go force yourself to write something. And I think that's where the most genuine music comes about, is when you're doing that kind of, I guess, those exercises, or just the spontaneousness of just doing something. You know what I mean?
You know how to play fast. If you practice slow, and then you automatically get faster. You know what I mean? So it's like
definitely that's one of the ways that you go about it. And I think in that, man, it's the most purest music in its purest form. Man. It's just born out of accident.
My mom actually would always pick what was the best song for the album.
Really?
You know what I mean? She would hear it one time and say, "That's the best song, Tony. That's it."
I'm scared to ask my mom, because I feel like I know what she would tell me. She's definitely got her favorites in that regard. Oh my gosh. But man, that's awesome.
Having met her, you better trust her. You better trust her.
Oh yeah. Listen, anything goes through her. She's like my proofreader. Anything I write, anything I produce, anything like that, she gets to hear it, and if it don't get her stamp of approval, it's not going on there.
Hey, so I'll tell you a funny short story. I was playing with Esther Phillips, and my dad came to the gig, and we opened up the show with this song called "Tune for My Mom" that I wrote for my
love
my
that
mom,
name.
Right? And my dad came backstage and he said, "Yeah, I like that song, son. It was good. You know, he gave me my props, but he said, where's my song at?"
You know it was coming.
I said, "It's coming, bro. It's coming."
You said I'm an equal opportunity songwriter. I'm sorry.
But I wrote a song after that, and he would play it at the show.
Oh man.
It was
cool. Tune from my mom, and you got tune from my dad.
I had tune from my mom, and then my dad's initials were MS. So I wrote a song called MS.
Oh, there you go. There's your tune. Man, that's sweet. Man, dad's always got to get in there.
My dad, he said the people was up there was up.
Yeah.
Love that song, right?
Yeah.
My dad's Where's my song at, cuz?
Come on, run it back. Come on, what's up? He took care of you all them years. He's like, man, I can't get a song out this guy.
I didn't got you so many good things.
Yeah, I can't get a song, bro. Like, man, I feel like that's a dad's universal language, man. Just gotta rub it in. But, man, that's funny. But yeah, dude, music is just such a language of love,
but
man.
We're both lucky because we both got to. I got to play with my dad. You still get to play with your dad.
Yeah.
Hey, and check it out. Those days are they're like the warmest things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they warm your dad's heart just as much as they warm your heart.
I know exactly what you mean. I talk about that all the time, man, because I get people that come up to us. This happened last year. I've told this a couple times. Where we're at the Fresh Coast Jazz Festival up in Milwaukee, man. A guy walked up to us and he was like, man, you don't know how much it means to see a father-son bond on stage. It's a healthy relationship. You guys aren't arguing. And he said, he's just something was going on with his son. He hasn't talked to him in years. And he's like, seeing you two on stage makes me want to go reach out to my son and rekindle that relationship. I think it's all about positive energy, man, in what you're putting out there, dude. It doesn't have to be negative. Right. We don't do this because, we want to, I mean, I guess people do this thing for selfish reasons a lot of the time because, of course, anything with money involved, you can have greed and stuff. But I think it's more important for the art and how pure it is. It's for it to promote and instill positive values, right?
There's stuff that my dad, when I was first learning how to play, there's stuff that I couldn't play, right? Yeah. But now I can play it. So I got his picture up here in the studio, and I know he's smiling down on me now.
Oh, man.
Because I could play it. And even after my dad had a stroke, I was playing a gig for him, right? And he couldn't really talk. But he would go, Tony, too laid back. Because you like to play everything too laid back. He said, I want it like this.
Yeah.
He beat my stomach. He go, I need it like this.
That's love right there, man.
Yeah.
That is love right there. Man. Shout out to all the fathers out there that really love their children and put that into them, man.
When I saw you and your dad play, I was like, I definitely went back to when I played with my dad and remembered all the great times that we had,
Yeah.
It was just I learned so much from him that he didn't even have to teach me.
Yeah.
There's just stuff that I've got just from being around him. And when I really decided to be a pro bass player was he was working on the movie Clue. And so I was on Jane Fonda, Michael Douglas, all these people.
Yeah.
And I said, I kind of like this. Get free food every day. Everybody waits on you.
Yeah.
This is kind of cool. So I got serious about my music.
You said, hey, look, I need the free food. That's why I gotta get on this. I gotta get on these practices.
Yeah. I gotta get on the practice. My brother had an opportunity. My brother he's worked for Michael Jackson, but he didn't want to spend the time. He was a guitar player. He didn't want to spend the time to win. He didn't want to put it because I would practice even still now. I'll come down here in the morning, and sometimes I won't leave here till 3 in the morning.
Yeah, that's how it is.
That's how it is.
Well, I mean, there's cats I know that treat it like a 9 to 5.
Yeah, it is.
Straight up.
That's all I do.
That's all it is, man. That's all you can do, especially if you're serious about this and you're trying to make it and build a successful career out of it. Right. You got to treat it like a 9 to 5, man. This is your life. This is everything that you do, and it's a great thing because it's not really work. Right. Music is fun, right?
Yeah. This is my kids. They didn't see me practice, right? They just know that my friends. They say, Dad, give me a ticket to this because so and so.
Yeah.
So and so.
That didn't come out of nowhere though.
No.
You worked for that.
I worked for that for sure.
Man, you definitely worked for that. So let me ask you another question here. I know your whole life is a success by all intents and purposes, right? But I want to know, what is the biggest success that you've had in your life that you can take away from out of all of it?
I think that when you when I play a concert and I make the one person smile, that means a lot to me. Or I have people that I that I have taught in school or whatever, and they come up to me and they still want to be around me 30 years later. You know, that means a lot to me.
Yep.
Or a kid went into to work, and he knew that who I was related to, and he asked her to call me and get me on the phone because he was so excited that I had coached him in football 30 years earlier. You know, so that means a lot to me. You know what I mean? And family, my family is everything to me. You know, you met my better half.
Yeah.
And you know we get along like apples and oranges. It's great. You know what I'm saying? We don't have arguments, but we get along fantastic.
Well, that's the ideal, right?
Yeah.
That's ideal. Got to work through that. So you say that you coached football.
Yeah, I coached high school football for 5 years.
Man, how was that?
Because I told you I love football.
I know.
So I coached varsity football at a high school, and I coached 2 people that went to the NFL.
Really?
Yeah.
Who are they?
Romeo Banderson went to the Washington Redskins and Phoenix Cardinals, and then Fridge, what's Fridge's real name? Aaron Taylor. Taylor went to Notre Dame. He was the lineman of the year. Now you see him on ABC on like before the college games comes on. But I took him to lift weights at 5 in the morning.
Wow.
Started.
Dude.
You know?
Man, so anybody that talks to you gets a nice career afterwards, right?
Yeah, well,
I think I might be doing well for myself because I've been talking to you right now.
Well, I definitely like to inspire people.
Oh, you're definitely inspiration.
I work for Bread and Roses. We went into prisons, talk to people in prisons. You know, it's like you want to uplift people. You know what I mean? Take them to some place they've never been. I was playing in prison one time at Christmas, and this kid was in the corner crying. He's about 30 years old. And I said, "Man, what's wrong?" He said, "Man, this is the first concert I ever saw."
Wow.
And you know, they just asked me to play, and I didn't go there meaning to play, but they said they wanted me to sign the space, and then I played, you know, music with some of the inmates. Great time. We sounded great. The kid was just so cool that he was, you know, I played with some great musicians, and the guy that's texting us on the crawl there, John Mitchell, he's the drummer in my group, and if I forget one note of what I'm supposed to play, he tells me. He says, "Tony, you forgot the third measure. You didn't play it like the
man over here note watching, bro."
Yeah.
He over here note watching. Speaking of which, I want to offer this up to the chat. If you guys have any questions you will personally want to ask Tony, leave it in the chat, and I'm sure he'd be happy to answer for you guys. But we're gonna go ahead and continue on, man. I want to go ahead and get you to play the next song, and this one is still from the Blue Note. Swagalicious.
And that's going to be my new single that will come out June 2nd. Swagalicious. So I wrote that one night in a hotel room, bass against the wall, so you could hear the melody. You know, after being in the studio all day, and then I went back to the hotel, leaned my bass against the wall, listening to my iPhone, and I wrote the melody.
Okay. Now, Tony, remind me, what number was that? On that one, let's see.
It might be the third one.
Third one. There we go. So I have Sherry play that one, but man, look.
I forget. I'm sorry.
You good. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and roll this next clip, and this is again from the Blue Note.
The next clip that you have is Rock Steady.
Yeah, Rock Steady. Okay, so we're gonna roll that one.
That was number 1 for 12 weeks.
All right, sweet. We're gonna roll Rock Steady, Tony Saunders, Blue Note. Check this out.
Janet Jackson said that she had control, but this is control. 5, 6, 7.
Man, wasn't that amazing or what?
Yeah, that's cool.
Bro, you was out there slapping that thing, man.
That's all I can do.
Man.
Got 17 grandkids. Got a lot of grandkids, so got to keep it busy.
You said I'm good at it. Man, that's funny. So we had a couple questions here. We're gonna run through these just a little bit. Shirley was asking, does your wife play an instrument, and if so, which one?
No, she sings, and she sings in the choir that I'm the musical director for. Santa Rosa Community Baptist Church. She sings.
Wow.
She does not play an instrument. No.
Well, I mean, she sings though. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's an instrument.
Oh yeah, it is.
That's the instrument.
That's our first instrument.
That's the first. You know, so yeah, if anybody's in there and you know how to blow that pipe, you can sing. You playing an instrument. So, I see we got my boy Gary Smoot. Man, we got all our band members up in here. That's my boy right there. Shout out to Gary. I think let's see. Raymond says, Tony, are you playing on any other artist songs?
In fact, I
don't
played
answer
on
that,
his
but
song. That's why he asked. I played on Uncle Raymond's. I finished the song for him, and actually I'm finishing the song for him today in the studio. But I played on his album.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
And I just finished Lenny Williams. We did a version of Carpenter's Close to You. Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. So that'll lead right into my final question as we'll go ahead and wrap up this show. I want to ask, what do you recommend new artists to do to get their career started?
I said that if you're really into the music business and you want to be in the music business, be true to yourself. Don't play with it, because this is not something that you could just do and do, and you think you're gonna make millions of dollars like all the people you see on TV.
Yeah. You really gotta love it.
You gotta really love it, and if you're gonna half step do it, don't do it.
Yeah.
This is what told me. You know who went to the high school that I coached at?
Who?
Tupac.
Wow.
Before he was in Digital Journey, but every Digital Underground. But before, I would tell him, be true to yourself. He learned how to do. He learned how to do. The reason why he was so good in those movies is because he studied Shakespeare. He did all the things necessary. Prepare yourself for success.
Awesome.
And don't worry about the success, because the success will come.
It will come.
You know what I mean? But be true to yourself. Don't like say play the bass 3 minutes and then go do a gig, and it ain't gonna happen like that. I played many hours of playing piano and bass, and I have lots of friends who are really good, that are famous, and they all do the same thing. They put in lots of time, like you say, like a 9 to 5.
Yeah,
and that's what it is.
That's what it is. 9
to 5.
Man,
when
awesome.
I got hurt on the football field, my teammates told me, they said, Tony, you play bass better. They said there's only 32 positions, there's only 32 receivers in the NFL. And if everybody don't retire, there's only gonna be 32 openings. You know what I mean? But you play bass really good, so you should maybe do that. Without telling me I wasn't good enough, they said they pushed me to where I was successful.
Awesome. Well, Tony, it's been a blast having you on tonight. Thank you so much for being my guest. We want to also wish Kat her the best and the what is the word I'm looking for? Speedy recovery. That's what it was. I'm sorry, y'all. It's late. But awesome. I want to say thank you guys for coming. Tony Saunders, you can check him out where?
TonySaunders.com.
TonySaunders.com. My name is Lemek. You can check me out on LemekYisraelMusic.com. You can follow both of us. Our music is everywhere. You can find him on Apple Music, Spotify, all the like. I got a brand new single out called Say What. Go stream that now.
Send it to me so I can play it on my show.
Oh, yep. Say What. And Tony's got a new single out currently. Say it again.
Swagalicious.
Swagalicious. Go
June
check
2nd.
June 2nd. Go check Swagalicious out. Much love to you all, and I hope you have a safe weekend and enjoy yourself.
Hey, peace to everybody. Love everybody.